Hey guys, what's up? It's Dusty. We're back with another late night vibe and do some art and listen to some music. Hope you guys are doing well. As always, let me know if the music levels are good. They were super quiet last stream, which I didn't realize. I apologize for that. So hopefully that's a little better now. And let me know what's up. How are you guys tonight? I see you out there, Badoni. Rockin' punchy as always. Much like me, Badoni never sleeps. We're vampires, just a little bit vampire. Today's beverage of choice, I'm glad you asked. I have moved on to the Old Wayfarer. This is the one that has a knockoff Gandalf on the can. This is part of a palette of several different meads that several of us got. Try them out from the Groanfield Meadery people. And you know what? It's really good. This is an oaked amber. It's oaked. Knockoff Gandalf. You know, I learned recently, and this is probably relevant to the fact that I'm drawing a Viking character, I learned that Gandalf is directly just stolen from Norse mythology. Or rather, the name is, not really the character. Which is kind of unusual for Tolkien. He doesn't usually rip off names that directly, he usually made it up. It means wand elf. Even though technically Gandalf is an angel. Alright, so tonight I'm going to be trying to clean up the colors a little bit. I adjusted the line work a whole bunch last time during the last stream, so that means that some of this flatting is no longer lining up correctly. You can see especially here on the belt.
Painted red, what a romance. Take a chance, one glance. Painted blue, end up with a rain dance. Just a bit.
As always, I have approximately too many layers.
And a monster. Yeah, I gotta say I want this longer. Can't find this anywhere. Constant calm inside,
yeah, that's true, Badoni. Badani. I just tried to call you Badani. Maybe I'll call you Badani forever.
Won't find this anywhere.
I think it's my my curse to just like completely fuck up someone's username on every stream.
Can't find this anywhere. Yeah, I want this longer. Won't find this anywhere.
Is Badani a font? Is that like the shitty, like off-brand, like free version of Badoni? Oh, what's up, little fuzz? You can find me on Defont. Yeah, that's about right. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love a good free font. I have way too many of them. But yeah, every designer has to chuckle a little bit at Defont. I would love to ask though, anybody who does like any design work, but especially a significant amount of design work, have you ever purchased a font? Because it's like, you know, a lot come with computers, a lot come with Adobe. I think Adobe subscriptions include like a font suite now. I know that when I was a student in art school, I actually copied all of the font files off of the lab computers because they had Helvetica, among others. And like, honestly, buying single licenses for stuff like Helvetica can be in the hundreds. It's quite expensive. Oh yeah, that's fair. I've actually worked for a couple of kind of smaller scale companies that when I started, realized that they were using pirated copies of like the Adobe suite among others. And I was like, y'all, we cannot be doing paid work for clients with pirated Adobe. We can't do this. And I mean, I'm not against pirating Adobe, to be honest, because I think that as a tool, especially for young designers, for designers and artists who don't necessarily have a lot of money, I think it's more important that they have access to those tools, and Adobe is a really big company. I probably shouldn't be like saying this on stream, but you know, whatever, fuck it. I think that, you know, and if you can never afford to pay it back or pay it forward or, you know, pay whatever, sure. If it's a little company though, like Paint Tool Sai, I actually learned recently, Paint Tool Sai is like one guy, maybe a handful of people now. So it's like, no, I don't think you should pirate that, but Adobe doesn't give a shit, you know? And I want young artists to have tools available to them. Yeah, Google Fonts are dope. I actually love Lato. Lato is probably one of my favorite fonts, I guess I'd say. Oh, typefaces, but it's great. I love Lato. And I've convinced a lot of clients and employers to use Google Fonts as well, because inevitably they're always like, oh, well, you know, like we want all our staff members to be able to edit documents and such. So it's much easier to just direct coworkers to download a Google font than it is to try to finagle a licensed font. For anyone who doesn't know this, I have worked in the commercial creative sector for quite a while. I've been a graphic designer, I've been a toy designer, I've done production work on custom orthotics, I've done 3D printing, I've done a lot of crazy stuff. Oh, Little Fuzz, that's really nice. I sometimes wish my college email was still valid just for EDU purposes. My favorite job I've done? In terms of the work itself, I'm not going to necessarily speak about the work environment here. The work itself, I loved making action figures. It was the perfect fit for me. It was nerdy stuff, it was a little bit of clothing, it was production work, it was 3D printing, it was design, it was everything that I really loved doing. Unfortunately, the work environment there was not ultimately a good fit, is the polite thing I'm gonna say about that. But I am hoping to get into doing more toy work in the future. Unfortunately, a lot of other manufacturing companies like Hasbro have hiring freezes right now. So thanks, COVID! Yeah, hostile work environments are rough, man. And I think almost everybody has had that experience, unfortunately. Just because someone's in a management position doesn't mean they're actually good at it. Of note? What do you mean by that, Little Fuzz, of note? Oh, specific toys that I liked working on? We had a lot of Marvel licenses there. I admit I'm far more of a Marvel person than a DC person. I liked a lot of the DC toys we worked on, but they weren't properties I was necessarily as familiar with. There were also a lot of 80s horror licenses, actually, that were pretty entertaining. I usually just had a chuckle because it was like Chucky or like Ghostface or like stuff like that. But a lot of times they'd be these very like chibi kind of vinyl toys or like other kinds of stuff. The line that I worked on, if you guys know Hot Toys, it's basically like, imagine a Hot Toy, which is approximately 12 inches. It was the same type of figure, but half the height, so 6 inches, but with soft goods and interchangeable parts and like super, super, super highly detailed sculpts, really high-end posable stuff. And like, I really liked working on that line. That was super fun. Yeah, it was a super fun job. I traveled a lot as well for conventions, so I would go and kind of help set up all the prototypes at like San Diego Comic-Con, New York Comic-Con, Designer Con, which is more of a designer art toy kind of convention out in Anaheim. Designer Con is great. If you guys ever have the chance to go and you're into kind of artier stuff and like not so much a comic convention, Designer Con is really cool. It's also right next to Disney, so... Quizzic is watching. Yeah, you bet Quizzic is watching. I'm pretty sure Quizzic is watching me all the time at this point. That is for sure the wrong brush. But you know what? Happy accident. As Bob Ross taught us, sometimes you just gotta go with the flow. Did you guys know that Bob Ross used to be a drill sergeant? He basically just got real sick of yelling at people, and he was like, you know what? I don't want to yell at people for a living anymore. So he became a professional painter, pretty much. Oh, Bodoni in California. Oh, woodworking, huh? That's awesome. I think you showed us in the Gut Punch Discord were they end tables or stools? I think they were end tables. They looked really amazing. I have done I will call it a little bit of woodworking. I used to run tech for theater in my high school, and I was often assigned the more technical woodworking jobs because I was a little bit more familiar with power tools than a lot of other kids who were working on those shows. Oh yeah, that's good to have a sturdy end table. what I'm gonna do here. There's a little bit of line work I actually need to come back and do. You'll see some of the detailing on the sort of, I don't want to call it a tunic, but like the vest section especially I need to tighten up. And a little bit of the stuff on the vambraces as well. But some of this line work I'm gonna knock way back and make it not as heavy, but it looks more like engraved leather than it does heavy outlining. Around 25. That feels good. I'll come back in a little with the painting, but how are the audio levels for you guys? Is it a little better than it has been before? The volume level in my headset is a little different than it is for the stream, so I like to keep an eye on it. Sweet! Thank you, Bedoni. Ooh, Little Fuzz. What is my favorite moment in Gut Punch so far? Oh man, that's so hard. I'll be the first to say I'm super bad with favorite questions. I'm always like, I'm gonna think about it for a second. I gotta come up with a good answer. Well, actually, truthfully, Bjorn's stream was very cool. I'm playing the long game with you guys, but I am very excited to get more into Bjorn's backstory and sort of ultimate arc at some point. In terms of like funny stuff, pretty much all of the arena stuff was really funny. Being dressed like He-Man, and then just like fully going head to head with the other part of the party, and the DM was like, I don't have to do anything. I can just sit here and watch my like players fight each other. I'm very excited about my cat. I wanna, yeah, I'm very excited about my cat. Cat names. So here's another one of my greatest flaws. I have a super hard time naming fictional characters. I always I'm like, no, I'm like overthinking it, coming up with bad ideas, that kind of stuff. Plus I over-research as well. Almost all the names I choose, not always, but often, like, have a meaning. Like, if you look them up, the origin in some way is actually meaningful or is actually relevant to the character. Even if it's abstract, all my names usually have like a whole write-up of like what they mean and where they come from and the origin and all this stuff. But Tony's dragging me in the chat right now. Literally every name of every one of Bjorn's family members like has a meaning. So I was a little disappointed because I don't know if you guys know this, but Freya, who is kind of one of the most important Norse goddesses, her chariot in myth is drawn by cats. But they both have kind of the names. Well, okay, so they don't actually officially have names, except for in this sort of modern Russian folklore version of, like, in the style of Norse myth. Jonathan, do you know what a himbo is? I'm bookmarking. I will come back. Look up himbo. Okay, so bookmarking, going back. So Freya's chariot is drawn by cats. They do have names. They're not very good names. They don't roll off the tongue. They're not like a thing that's gonna be fun to say on the stream. Keep pictures on? Wait, what does that mean? Keep pictures on. But so I'm thinking I might call the cat. Oh, keep pictures on for the himbo search. A himbo is basically there's like a triangle. You have to be beefy, dumb, but like really sweet and absolutely respect women and like be like genuinely really cool. You can't be an asshole, like you can't be skinny, and you can't be, well, so sometimes himbos are like smart of brain but dumb of ass. Like you have to have kind of like a dumbass energy. So for example, Rick O'Connell from The Mummy is smart, but he's dumb of ass. Like we know he is. Kevin Ghostbusters, also good. Himbo comes out of bimbo, like it's like a male bimbo, but the meaning is, I would say, a little bit different than how we probably perceive bimbo. Although I don't see bimbo as being like a negative word. I know that some people do. But so basically, my boy is very big and very sweet, and he's not the smartest. He's not dumb, but he's, you know, he's kind of a dumbass. For names though, cat names. Basically my conundrum Yeah, I have high wisdom, low int. Chris Hemsworth, great example. I love cats that have extraordinarily stupid names. Like, you know, pancakes. Or like, you know, something just so dumb. That you really, a cat's named after food, waffles, great choice. But I'm also like, you know, so committed to the like, you know, cool, high fantasy, you know, names that have a meaning. So I can't decide whether I want my cat to have a very stupid name or a very cool name. Purple Love, it is the himbo being drawn. There we go, there he is. I do my best. Oh, thank you. I struggle a lot with trying to bring kind of nice organic textures back into digital painting. I've been a digital painter for a really long time. I have worked in pretty much every other type of traditional media, but I never really took to any of them. I kind of like watercolor and gouache, but I don't really do a lot of that anymore. I mostly do digital. So bringing some of that organic texture back in, I mean, I'm not trying to actually make it pass for a watercolor or an oil or anything, but there is a sort of niceness to it not just being the proverbial Photoshop brown brush. I'm actually working in a program called Clip Studio Paint, which I only recently adopted. So it seems like I'm occasionally searching for tools, that's why. Things are a little different. But it's a little more geared toward digital painting and a little less geared toward some of the photo editing stuff that Photoshop has. So far, I'm really enjoying it. A lot of their built-in brushes and textures and painting tools are just really a lot more pleasant to use on a user interface kind of level. And it's truthfully not that expensive. I bought it on sale, but I bought it for like 25 bucks. And that's a one-time purchase, so honestly, screaming deal. Oh, Little Fuzz throwing the halfling is 112% a Lord of the Rings reference. Don't worry, we got you. I was just yelling with a Vicious Frockery. I don't know if Vicious Frockery is in here. I don't think so. Earlier about Aragorn. I love everybody in the Lord of the Rings. There's nobody I don't like in the Lord of the Rings. They're all my favorites. But I love Aragorn especially with my whole entire heart. But I have always my whole life wanted to make his coronation armor, which is, as you guys may know, quite the project. So when I was younger, and even sort of starting out in cosplay, I was too scared to do it. I was like, I'm not good enough for this. I'm not gonna be able to do that. That's plate mail, you know? I mean, and not that I'm gonna like make it out of metal, but that's no joke. But I'm kind of feeling like I might be ready. It's the kind of thing that I know that I just have to take my time with. Some of it's actually not that bad because, for example, on his upper arms and like his lower sort of hip thigh area, it's just chainmail. There's nothing there, it's just chainmail. But then obviously like the crown and the gauntlets and that chest plate especially have so much detailing in the metalwork. Oh, hey Swinging Hammer, what's up? Everybody from Gutch Punch is here tonight. Ooh, the Amazon series. So I haven't read that summary yet that was going around. I am cautiously really interested because I do know how hard it is to execute. I mean, you know, Lord of the Rings was so good and so perfect in so many ways that I do think that there probably is an element of like, will that ever be surpassed by anybody else? But hopefully, it seems like Amazon is giving it its due. I mean, they have a big enough budget and it seems like they care and like they're really putting the work in and not half-assing it. So I'm definitely interested. I'm actually gonna start streaming Shadow of Mordor probably Friday night or Saturday. I've never played that game. I know that it was Game of the Year in 2014, 2015? Or was that Shadow of War? Well, whatever. One of them was very well regarded. I think they both were. And I've never played them, even though I'm a big Tolkien person. Same, Little Fuzz. That budget is crazy. It's something like 50 million per episode or something. It's like something insane. It's like Game of Thrones shit, basically. Which truthfully, is probably what Amazon wanted. They probably looked at Game of Thrones before Game of Thrones went off the rails, as we all know, and looked at Game of Thrones and went, we want that. We want a Game of Thrones. I have been enjoying watching all the races get big mad about the Amazon show though. They're like, oh, there aren't any like black people in Middle Earth, and I'm like, A, fantasy, B, what are you talking about? Like, yeah, Tolkien is super white and shouldn't be. There should be more people of color in Tolkien work. The same was true of The Witcher, truthfully. People were nasty when a lot of those castings came out, and look how good they were! They were amazing. Swinging a hammer, yeah, that seems right. Damn! I know it took a lot of convincing to get some of the Silmarillion lore licensed, because the licensing is a little different for the Silmarillion stuff than it is for just the core Lord of the Rings stuff. And the estate can be a little hinky about some of that stuff as far as I know. Yeah, unfortunately, Swinging Hammer, you're right. I mean, there are a huge number of works that have to be consumed within their context, at least in my opinion, that you can understand why it matters and why it's good and why people loved it and the influence that it had, and still understand that times have changed and for the better. That just because the work was written like that then doesn't mean that it can't be improved upon now. And you can still love it. I mean, I love Tolkien, but I also understand that it's the year 2021. You know, like...
When it comes to you, I'm addicted to you. Why do I always find myself right back at you? You make a fool of me.
Oh, Fuzz. Yeah, Witcher is dense, I guess. I feel like it... Even if you don't know anything about The Witcher, I do think that the show gives you enough that if you're patient and you stick with it, then you'll understand everything. But it definitely is the type of show that you do have to, like, pay attention. It's not casual watching material. You kind of can't just throw that in the background and be like, oh, you know, it'll be fine. You really, really have to pay attention to the details in that show. I know that some folks, you know, there are types of TV that I just want to throw on in the background and not pay attention to, and then there's some shows that I really sit down and watch. Oh yeah, the non-linear storytelling. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. You have to pay such close attention. Because in The Witcher, like, the only things that they key you into, like, what goes where is basically, like, you have to remember Sintra and what happened in Sintra and the Queen. Because then they'll refer to, like, oh, she's 16, or like, oh, you know, she just won such and such. And then you're like, okay. Yeah, the info's all there. I agree with you, Little Fuzz, but you definitely do have to pay kind of attention to that. I've been a big Witcher fan for a really long time. I've read most of the books. I'm not totally caught up. I love The Witcher. I'd have probably 600 hours into The Witcher 3. So I was pretty hype about that, and like, truthfully, I really didn't have confidence in Henry Cavill. When that casting came out, I was like, Superman? Like, really? It was not it for me. I was like, I don't like that at all, actually. And then those really early wig and makeup photos came out, and they were also not good. And I was really, really scared about that show. And then when it came out, honestly, great. Amazing. Great show. Good job. I was wrong. Oh my god, are you out here dragging each other about Animal Crossing?
How was you doing all summer long?
Getting through it must have been pretty hard. Tell me, did you ever wish we never happened? Well, I kinda did, cause sometimes
I need to consolidate some of these color layers. This is getting ridiculous.
We fall apart with a smile on. Kid, you know we lived up to the highest. Say you're gonna miss it, but you're lying. I feel like I'm leaving.
So my roommate and I shared an Animal Crossing island because I didn't have a Switch early in the summer. You guys probably remember it was super hard to get a Switch for a while there. I think collectively we put in 400 or 500 hours over 2 people. So yeah. Summer of Animal Crossing now. I'm free. I don't play Animal Crossing anymore. But like respect to people who are still playing that game. I don't think anybody's island in Animal Crossing is ever truly done. I don't think that's possible. I think that's how they keep you coming back. I have one Animal Crossing bet left because I said early on when people were really mad about the froggy chair, I said they're gonna wait until their user numbers fall low enough that they want to bring people back, and they're gonna drop the froggy chair, because you know people will come back for that.
All of the waves, they keep chasing after me. Even though we are out of reach, I can feel the water on my feet. The things that you said to me, they will grow inside, they make believe.
I was swinging a hammer. You know, truthfully, I spent many years worrying about my filament. For folks who don't know 3D printing as well, if you live in a humid place, or you have a lot of humidity fluctuations, your printer filament can actually absorb moisture and it can fuck up your prints, basically, because there's too much moisture in the head when it gets hot and then it like gets all weird. I don't have problems. I think partially it's because I live in New York. We don't get too much humidity here. Sometimes a little bit during the summer. But even during the summer, I'm usually running an air conditioning unit, which tends to dry out the apartment anyway, so the humidity never really gets high enough here for me to have like a significant problem. I also go through a lot of filament. Truthfully, a lot of the spools that I have are like old, or for doing tests, or like weird specialty colors and stuff. For core printing that I'm doing for clients or for myself, I usually only have 1 or 2 active spools at a time that I do go through pretty quick. So truthfully, I don't have a lot of trouble with it. That's crazy, swinging a hammer. Huh. I mean, truthfully, maybe it would like slightly increase the quality of my prints. Although I will say, you do a lot of printing that, as far as I know, you don't really do a lot of finishing. So you really need to get that surface dialed in really well. Almost everything that I print gets filled and sanded and painted and finished. So I am still really, really, really meticulous about quality control, especially for clients. But because most of it is getting finished, especially for personal projects, I'm a little more like, meh, you know, whatever, I can fill that in. Like, I can put a little Bondo in that. Because I'd rather spend a couple minutes just fixing it later than redo like a 10-hour print, you know? That's good to know you have good results with the drying, though. I've seen a lot of debates on forums whether or not people think it actually makes a difference. What is your drying setup like? Oh, they make machines for that now? Of course they do. I never thought about it. I remember in the old days, people used to try to just figure out how to do it in their oven. What is the name of this song? That's a good question. Let me go back. I'm gonna play it again, just so I can check out what it is. It is called Kosha, K-O-S-H, by J. Sarma and Scribo. I can type this into the chat. So I am playing a playlist called Gaming Music for YouTube and Twitch, copyright free, DMCA free, because I want to be able to leave this music in the VOD for any of you guys who don't catch it live, and it is much, much better to not use copywritten music. Oh, Cat Birdie. Yeah, that's actually really smart. Cat Birdie is down in Florida, where I imagine humidity is a serious problem. Forgetting what I'm doing because I'm yelling about 3D printing with you guys. This is my Pandora. I don't want to call it a Pandora's box, but it's one of those things that if someone gets you talking about it, you just like talk about it forever. You're asking me for Hawkeye facts? I can tell you about my MCU theory. So there are a lot of parts of like rumors and stuff we sort of know, and then like stuff from the comics. But my prediction, based on some of the comic stuff, is that they're really gonna lean into the like Hawkeye is a title and lots of people have held it, because obviously this is true in the comics, but people who've held it include Kate Bishop, who we know is coming, but also Alexei, who is Red Guardian, who is obviously in the Black Widow movie, and I think that the comics have really been reintroducing and promoting Echo lately, who is a Native American woman who has also held the Hawkeye title. And if it is common for the Marvel comics to reintroduce and promote characters that they're planning on bringing into the MCU in the next few years. So I wonder if they're really gonna be like, all these people have been Hawkeye. That's my theory. Purple Love, you know shark facts? Tell me shark facts. I should say, okay, yeah, actually, Bononi's right. I was referring to the Ronin title. A lot of people have held the Ronin title, not the Hawkeye title, although there have also been multiple Hawkeyes. Thank you for the correction. Ronin, the weird, like, we didn't need Jeremy Renner to kill lots of Japanese people in Infinity War segment. I feel like that's gonna come back, unfortunately. Purple Love, I love goblin sharks. Goblin sharks are so cool. I'm actually acquaintances with one of my neighborhood, a neighbor but like 2 blocks away, who is the shark handler at the Coney Island Aquarium. Oh, Purple Love, that's a good fact. That is not a fact I knew about sharks. Donnie, yeah, I agree with you. And yeah, Swinging Hammer. I mean, it was supposed to be global. It is possible they'll do Yakuza. I'm kind of hoping they're not gonna do that, but we'll see. I mean, the Slavs, like the Slav squad, what were they actually called? Whatever. The Matt Fraction villains. For many years, back when that comic was kind of more popular, more new, a bunch of friends and I desperately wanted to get like 100 people to buy matching tracksuits and go to a convention. Right? Wouldn't that have been a really good flash mob? Like, it's a little late, but if they reference it at all in the MCU, maybe it'll be relevant again. Because the thing is, there are a lot of those sports manufacturers where basically you can set up a color and a style and then link it to people and then they buy their size. Because that's how a lot of sports teams and stuff, especially like schools, will do matching tracksuits. So there's no reason I couldn't do the setup and then just send the link. You gonna buy a tracksuit, little fuzz? One of my absolute favorite things to draw is hair. I love drawing. Bjorn is the himbo with the good hair. I'm gonna be very impressed if Bjorn's hair saves the world. But you know what? You never know. Good shark facts! You know what, Purple Love? Thank you. I love a shark fact. I love nature. Nature's good. There was a time when I was on vacation with some of my friends in college, and some of my friends were down on the beach by the water, and some of us were kind of up on this raised, like, wooden boardwalk. And the folks down by the water very exuberantly were trying to indicate to us that they had seen a dolphin. And from our higher vantage point, we could very clearly see it was a shark. It was probably a nurse shark. It was Florida. It was not likely to hurt anybody, but they kept going, dolphin, dolphin. And we were like, it's a shark, you know? And it went back and forth because nobody could hear anyone else. Right? This is definitely the plot of Jaws. Yeah, that's about right, Little Fuzz. Nurse sharks are so harmless. They're big, but they're not scary. In Florida, there are worse things, like man-o-war. Yeah, I agree with that. Octopuses or octopi are so cool. I love all the stories about them being petty, like throwing their food back at their trainers because it's gone off, and like crawling out and eating other fish, and like all kinds of crazy stuff. Octopi, excuse me, are so smart, crazy smart. Oh yeah, Florida covered in gators. Nothing but gator. You guys follow Gators Daily? Gators Daily is one of my absolute favorite Twitter accounts. I think that they self-describe as like the anarchist gator account of your dreams or something. I don't even remember, but 10 of 10 content. It's a lot of gator shitposting, pro-gator shitposting. And then sometimes they like have pictures of gators punching Nazis and stuff, and then people are like, hey, this is a gator account, not a politics account, and they're like, I don't care. Just remembered I haven't saved this whole session. I could have lost an hour of work. Save your work, kids.
You're like a blessing. Oh, I wasn't waiting for you, wasn't waiting for you. Yeah, I was just wasting. Oh my time living without you, time living without you. Yeah, like a rocket on a planet, that's how I feel.
I actually lost about a half hour of work on this document once before. I'm past that point now, thank goodness.
But in the best ways, you make my day. Baby, keep loving, keep loving me just like you do it, like you do it, like you hit don't live, so we keep growing just like we do it, like you do it, like you.
Also, while we're doing reasonable reminders, drink water. Everybody drink some water. I'll drink some water.
It is hard, but we can go through. 'Cause I want it like you want it too. Don't get insecure, baby.
That's also a mood little fuzz, especially older games, because a lot of new games have autosave, so you kind of whatever. But older games, if you don't save your progress.
Don't really understand the feeling that we have. There's gonna be some bad wishes from people that don't really understand this what we have. Keep loving, keep loving me just like you do.
My favorite trick in Valhalla is to save right before I bet money, because then if I lose, I can just go back to my save point. I think I mentioned this on Twitter, but I'm totally the user in Valhalla who's like, why am I always broke even though I'm constantly doing side missions? And then I'm like, okay, but I am gonna buy every horse in the game and also every bird in the game. So yeah, I'm always broke.
Don't really understand the feeling that we have. There's gonna be some bad wishes from people that don't really understand is that we have. Oh, baby, keep loving, keep loving me just like you do it. Like
And they're literally just cosmetics. The stats are not different. I mean, you look at something like Breath of the Wild, and having a couple different horses kind of behooves you. They're all behooves you. You know, they're all a little different. Not in Valhalla. It's just a cosmetic. Oh, are we trying to convince people to buy Breath of the Wild? Hell yeah. My ringing endorsement is that I really, truly think that it's the best action game on Switch. Like, if you're into open world action games, I really, really, really do think it's the best one. For a whole lot of reasons, part of which is that it was made for the Switch. I like playing The Witcher on the Switch, don't get me wrong, but that game on the Switch is buggy. Really buggy. But Breath of the Wild, because it's literally made for the Switch. They basically maximized everything they could do. It's beautiful. It runs great. I can't really remember running into any bugs. I mean, if they were little, and it's super, super, super fun to play. Yeah, same. I played Breath of the Wild in like May, June. So granted, if they released any patches or anything, I certainly already had those. But real tight game. Everything about it felt really tight. This one, Lil Fuzz? Love what you want? What is that? I actually really like this playlist, especially considering it's DMCA free, but I am not, truthfully not really that familiar with most of the music. It's mostly new to me. Oh, the one before? What was that? Blissful Memories. Oh, I do like this song. I'm gonna heart that. You guys know I maintain some playlists. Quite a few playlists. Okay, I gotta not get too over painty here. Very easy for me to get a little too caught up in like the details. The keystrokes don't work the same as they do in, oh. Oh, okay. Some of the keystrokes are the same. I've been working in Photoshop for well over a decade, so trying to relearn new programs is a little... Or are we doing punchy dabs? I love a punchy dab. I can contribute to this. We're really close to getting affiliate on this channel, and then I can have extra dabbing emotes. I think I need to stream 2 more times? 3 more times? And get 2 more followers. If you guys aren't following, it's free. If you want to do me a solid, I'd super appreciate it. Thank you, Swinging. That early drive for affiliate, man, because the bar is relatively low, but you can't do emotes, you can't do subs. There's like so much basic Twitch stuff you actually can't do until you get to affiliate. Which is why my little bar at the bottom of my screen is so empty, because like you guys can't even like cheer or anything. Like, what is this? How are we looking? Truthfully, I'm hoping to finish this tonight. I've been kind of hacking away at it for so long. Oh, have a good night, Swinging. Thank you for dropping by. I know it's a late stream. This is a hell of an outro song for you.
Man, that is so juicy.
I'm not mad about it, but this is a funny song.
Wow, incredibly juicy.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Alright, I've been putting it off too long. I didn't want to work on making the Van Braces match. I don't have a choice anymore. Let me bring up my reference. Actually, that would be a great place to start. See if I have that open.
That is so juicy. incredibly juicy.
Real curse there. I've done a terrible thing. Oh boy. Oh boy. Maybe that last song, the Juicy song, was dedicated to Quizzic. Or else she wrote it. She probably wrote it.
Between two different things, yeah, I'm thinking too much, I'm bursting at the seams. Tell me I'm not lost out at sea, tell me they are listening to me, feeling misplaced, someone rescue me. Someone rescue me. Someone take me.
I'm not careful, I'm gonna end up adding music to the Gut Punch playlist.
Got liquor on the table, I don't mind where the night goes, your skin on mine. I see no other people, love is blind, but that's alright though. Pull me down, drown me in this thing I'm feeling, round and round, the world is turning upside down. Tell me how I could be the one you're needing, girl. Your touch is driving me wild. I want your body on me.
Actually, this is also definitely Quizzic's playlist. Well, this song belongs on her playlist.
This moment is magic, I want you to stay.
Sidoni, she had headphones? You would know, you're the note taker. I don't remember that at all.
I'll make you mine, girl, your hand in mine. I'll lead you far away, girl, so divine. Our lips touch, our eyes close. Pull me down, drown me in this thing I'm feeling. Round and round, our world is turning upside down. Tell me how I
We have fantasy headphones? I mean, we have fantasy goggles, so like, you know, Google would think. There have been a number of times where we over at Gut Punch have sort of joked about all cosplaying our characters. And sometimes when I'm working on this art, I'm like, oh, I mean, you know, if I do that, I have cursed myself to having to make a lot of super intricate work. Which isn't to say I can't change my own design a little bit. However, I have added an awful lot of detail.
Let me call you tonight, and I need you in my life. Baby, I miss you so much. Just two pills, I dream about you all night. They're in love, but sex was alright. At the club, I see you, you're shining bright. I'ma take you home, we'll have fun all night. Sick of love, but I need you in my life. I'm sorry, love, but you don't have to fight. Let me come and let me hug you tight. Baby, I'm the way
That's right. This is Quizzic's like breakup mix. Like we weren't even ever together. You know she like made a breakup mix.
baby, I miss you so much. Just two pills, I dream about you all night. They're in love, but sex was alright. At the club, I see you, you're shining bright. I'ma take you home, we'll have fun all night. Call. Let me make it better, I will sing to you. Shawty, you so perfect, let me fall for you. Sorry to know you're not alone tonight. Yeah, closer to you. I'm falling for you, and I can't beat that one. I'm falling for you. Let me call you tonight, and I need you in my life. Baby, I miss you
So I often actually keep a basically a hue and saturation layer that's brought all the way to the bottom so it turns the image into black and white. I keep that at the top of my document because I can turn it on and start checking my values, make sure that things aren't too close together or like too weird. Obviously color saturation and color vibration have a lot to do with how colors look against each other. You can have two colors that are the exact same tonal value, but if they're super different, they look really different. But checking your values is still good. I've definitely been sort of trying to keep Bjorn's color palette pretty small, pretty tight, and pretty neutral. Not super flashy.
I always thought that you were right for me. Was told she'd be the end of me. I swore we'd never meet. Now she's my favorite accessory, and she's even the air I breathe. She comes and helps me meditate. She taught me how to levitate, and together we fly away. Red eyes, I see the secrets behind these lies that I keep hearing. I can't get away. She's stuck in my brain. The sweet escape with major.
But Tony, I've told you this before. Bjorn has a shield, but the thing is that my axe is a two-handed axe and it's not versatile. So I can't use my big axe. I can't use it one-handed. I have to use both hands. But it does look dope.
I'll never get her to change her ways. It's simply the way she's made. Oh no, she'll never change. There's loads of things that I'd like to say, but she locks them inside my brain. Oh, she's like my own personal follower. I always see a lot of us. Some people say I gotta learn to be less of a part.
Alright, I've been waffling the entire time, dozens of hours into this document. I don't know whether I want felt to come out like this. Not. So, I'm gonna paint it in real quick. We're gonna see how we feel about it. my thought process in terms of designing this costume has sort of been, you know, things that we do know about Norse and sort of Scandinavian and that type and that era of clothing, which is some, but not a ton necessarily. That type of cloth doesn't necessarily last that long. Although if you guys get the chance, you should look up the, quote, oldest pair of pants in the world. They are Norse. And what's up, young dope? So there are Norse pants that are real old, and they were preserved in a bog, basically. But you can still see the pattern on them, and it's actually incredibly beautiful. But they look like drop-crotch joggers. And you can actually buy recreations that are joggers. Well, you can buy the real pants now, too. Who is it, Valhyr? There's a very cool company that does a lot of Viking art as well as clothing and a bunch of other stuff. The hoodie I was wearing on, I think, my last stream is a Valhyr. But they sell, quote-unquote, the world's oldest pants recreation. But anyway, as I was saying, it's sort of a blend because obviously this is a D&D character in a fantasy universe, so I can kind of do whatever I want. But at the same time, I really do want to inspire the feeling of a Viking character. So for example, I did kind of go very modern, not modern, but like more European with the boot style. A lot of depictions of Vikings have a much softer shoe with kind of a wrapped calf. And you know, you don't really see a lot of Viking depictions that have like a sash around the waist, but it's also kind of a nice little visual element. Maybe. I'm excited how I feel about it. A little fuzz, bad for Artax. Yeah, bogs are, we have found a lot of very interesting things in bogs. I don't know if you guys know about something called bog butter. It's actually still edible, I guess, if you were really brave. But there are a weirdly high number of discoveries of these kind of big chunks of like butter or animal fat that presumably have been left in the bog to be preserved or stored, and then maybe were forgotten or were lost or you know, whatever else, and then we in modern times have discovered them preserved because it's a bog. And it's kind of gross, but you could probably eat it. Sort of like the jars of honey in ancient Egyptian tombs. That, I mean, technically it's still good. I don't know that I would eat it.
Everybody get up, it's the party song.
How are we feeling about the sash? Sash yes, sash no? The other option is for it to be red. I do kind of like the red. But then it doesn't look like it's connected to the fabric around his waist. It looks like a different piece of fabric. You know, I've actually tried that Bedoni. Let me swap that over and see. Because I had mocked that in really early Oh, I don't hate that. I don't hate that. What are we feeling? We feeling the red sash? I like the red sash. I'm feeling good about it. Hell yeah. Alright, votes in the chat. Alright, now I have to actually draw in for anyone who wasn't here before, you're about to find out, I actually draw in blue. And then I swap the line color later. Because for some reason, I just have a much easier time, I guess, seeing value when it's blue. Oh, there you go, you can see it's blue. That's a trick I actually got from an old friend of mine at Pratt. He actually draws by hand using blue lead in a mechanical pencil, which is actually also what I do. I picked that up from him. And then I ended up doing it digitally as well, which truthfully I think he does now as well. But he has an incredibly beautiful style. Oh, Bedoni, no, I actually didn't. I know what you're talking about. So, for folks who don't know what Bedoni is talking about, so older photo sensors, which often show up in scanners, copiers, cameras, this actually isn't really true anymore, but it used to be true. There were certain colors of blue that those photo sensors couldn't pick up or didn't well. And so it was quite common for animators, among others, to use blue pencils as a sketch or like as lines that they intended to delete. Because then when they scanned the work, it would just disappear. So basically you can do a sketch in blue and then ink it in black or in other colors, and then if you were to scan it on one of those older photo sensors, the blue would just melt away. Even with newer photo sensors, which do pick up the blue in most cases, you can still use Photoshop filters and other types of software to pull the blue out and not pull out the black or the brown or whatever other color you've used. So it can still be a great tool to remove sketches if you would like to do that. Animation is actually, like, old school animation is super interesting, as is old school graphic design, but we're so spoiled by digital programs now that if you ever want to go down a rabbit hole, look into how people used to do that kind of stuff. A lot of Disney movies that are older, like Bambi, you know, like a lot of the super old ones, basically what they would do is they had these huge machines, and you can look up pictures of them. They're easily 10, 15, 20 feet high, and each of the layers is painted onto glass that's inserted into these machines, like layer by layer by layer, and then there's a camera that sits up above all the glass layers and takes photos of each frame, and then they'll swap out the top layers, which are the animated character, and then the bottom layers are the background or like other stuff that doesn't move as much. But it's crazy to see these like guys crawling around on these huge machines with these glass plates. Wild. They also did a lot of what's called rotoscoping. There's sort of a bias, I will say, in the arts community now that's very against tracing. And to be clear, like, you should never trace someone else's art. You know, it is quite rude to trace a photo you don't have the rights to. As more than an educational tool, actually tracing can be a fantastic educational tool. It is quite rude to trace other people's work if you don't have the rights to it. However, tracing is an age-old tradition. It is not uncommon for people to rotoscope. So basically you take footage of a real human doing a real thing, for example, and then you by hand trace every frame from that footage, and then you end up with an animated version of the same thing. So a lot of older, let's talk about Disney again, they took footage of like women dancing or animals moving or things like that, and they would just trace the frames, and then they would go in and stylize it and color it and make it consistent with the style of the movie and make it look like it was supposed to look. So it's not a one-to-one. But it is a great and, quite frankly, fast way to animate. And I mean, truthfully, I have, if I'm trying to get a pose right, sometimes I'll pull up a reference and kind of just, 10 seconds, 30 seconds, just kind of throw some lines over that image and then delete the image and start drawing because, who gives a shit? I've done years of figure drawing. I can draw out of my head, but sometimes I'm a little late, but yeah, Don Bluth cartoons, also amazing. I love some Don Bluth. I have a weird fondness for animated cartoons from the late 80s, early 90s that truthfully are not obscure. Most people from our generation remember them. They're just not the ones that are A-listers for a lot of folks. I'm a huge fan of Disney's Atlantis. Ferngully, fantastic. Treasure Planet, fantastic. These are not rare, they're not obscure, but they are not necessarily like the top 6, Disney movies that people bring up. Anastasia is not Disney, actually, fun fact, but Anastasia also great. That's a Don Bluth. Oh yeah, you're right, Little Fuzz. So Scanner Darkly is actually made almost entirely using rotoscoping. A lot of their technique was not by hand. They had some digital filters and other stuff going on. But it is basically the same in that they animated over every frame of actual footage. That reminds me, I haven't seen Scanner Darkly in a really long time. I should check that movie out again. So this is a great example of me not quite being used to this program yet. I use layer masks a lot to paint out data that I might want later. There's actually a term. So there's something called, this is more for photo editing and more for other types of work, but it applies to painting. You can work either destructively or non-destructively, and there are a lot of workflows in usually Adobe programs, but obviously Clip Studio as well, where you can either just completely destroy data, you can paint over it, it's gone forever, whatever. If you want it back, you have to do it again. Or there are ways that you can preserve data in case you want it later. Most professional creatives try to work non-destructively because the truth is, it is so likely that a client is going to be like, well, I liked the version from 6 versions ago. Can we just go back to that one? And if you destroyed the data, then you have to do it over again. But if you preserved the data, then you're fine. You can go, yeah, alright, fine, we can go back 6 editions, you know? Like, not ideal, but... Those are good choices, Little Fuzz. I haven't seen American Tail in a really long time either. I need to do a Don Bluth watch. Okay, I figured it out. I guess I have to use the eraser tool in this program. That's fun. But so I bring up non-destructive editing because basically by using a layer mask, which is what I'm doing, this data still exists. The line work that I did before is not getting destroyed, but it is hidden. And so if at some point, for some reason, I decide that I don't want the sash or I want some of this line work back, it's still there. This song. What is this? You guys are going on a music journey with me tonight. I'm a notorious, I don't even have a good phrase for it. I seek out new artists is my favorite hobby on Spotify. My, you know that Spotify Wrapped, like, data thing that they do for you? Truthfully, the most notable thing about my Wrapped was that I'd listened to like 2,000 or 3,000 different artists, new artists, in 2020 alone. I think my most played song was like 16 times, maybe. And I mean, a lot of that is seeking out new playlists and kind of putting them on shuffle and just kind of seeing what comes of it. I've got a spot. There we go. I think that's my first spot on this channel. Yeah, really a mark of a Twitch milestone. I do have moderation abilities on the Gut Punch channel, but all these lovely people always beat me to it when they're like weirdos in the chat. Don't forget to save, don't forget to drink water, don't forget to stretch. Stretching is good. Is that true, Little Fuzz? Do you listen to a lot of Steely Dan? I think my top, which again was like a 16 plays, was like something from Silver Sun Pickups, which is weird because I'm not anti Silver Sun Pickups, but I don't care that much about that band. I have seen them live, actually. But it was, you know, it was like an opening act. I didn't pay to see Silver Sun Pickups. Really? You're an Amazon Music user? I don't know if I've ever met someone who uses Amazon Music like more than, I guess, any other service. Oh, Badoni, that's a good one. Don't lose your head by 6. 2020 energy. Here's a fun fact about the Spotify Wrapped data. If you regularly listen to one of the major sleep playlists on Spotify, I don't know about smaller ones or if it's based on the name or what, but there are a couple of really big sleep playlists on Spotify. If you listen to those a lot, they don't count towards your data. Because that makes sense. If you listen to the same playlist every night to go to sleep, like, you totally fuck up your Spotify data. I don't even think I know some of those, Little Fuzz. What genre is that? We have Opus, Hull and Oates, Gojira, 4 Tesseract, 5 Steely Dan. Also, it seems that 3.Gojira is perhaps a username? Also, I did fully draw Bjorn's, like, naked body under here. There it is. I kept making his shoulders broader and broader, and he still looks quite skinny in this art. Well, I would say medium, maybe medium build. But it's like, his shoulders are so broad, actually. It's just the proportion of all the gear. Yacht Rock? What is Yacht Rock? Oh, I'm gonna have to check that out. Also, boy howdy, I recently cloned my old hard drive onto a new one, and the new one is a 2 terabyte SSD. I know I'm living the high life, but I am floored by how much faster my computer is. I went from about a 10-minute full restart cycle, like shutting down all my programs, restarting the computer, like opening all of my normal programs back up, you know, a full restart cycle. It took about 10 minutes. It takes 90 seconds now to do like a solid restart, and all my files save right away. They copy super quick, like my games open really fast. It's crazy what a difference it made. An M.2? I don't think so. I can check that for you. I'm still playing the Limbo game where I'm trying to get a 3080 graphics card so I can actually stream like new games for you guys. That's why right now I'm looking at a lot of older games because my computer cannot handle the new ones. I bought a, my SSD is a Samsung 860 EVO. Oh, the 3070s are hard too. The 3080s are popular with the 3070s. Do you know about that Twitch stream? There's a guy... I just found out about this today. I might have closed it. Oh, there it is. His name is Falcodrin, and he runs... The Twitch stream's been running for God knows how long. But all it is a visual feed and audio alerts, and it pings like all the major websites, Best Buy, Amazon, all those. Every like second or two to see if any 30s, 70s, 80s, or 90s are in stock. And then if the ping is like, yeah, they're in stock, there's like this like siren that goes off, and then the chat like starts freaking out. It's crazy. I'm in the Micro Center Discord as well. For those of you who are not on the graphics card limbo right now, I guess the TLDR is basically that the manufacturers drastically underestimated how many people wanted to buy graphics cards. So when they released the new 30 series end of last year, they've been sold out within moments, pretty much for the last 6 months. I'm the type of person who makes pretty big equipment leaps. So I'm on a 970 right now, a GTX 970, so I'm going from that to a 3080, which is kind of a big jump. Oh, really? You're on a 972? I mean, it was a good graphics card in 2015, 2016. I actually bought the 970 at the time because I wanted to play The Witcher on Ultra.
We want to make each other happy, you know? That's just in our nature. And it means everything. Everything we do in our life doesn't mean anything if it doesn't make someone's life happy.
We're the stars in the sky. We shine bright. We keep each other high. When the rain pours down and the day goes down, and it feels like we don't know who we are. Remember, you have me by your side. We're always together.
Oh, that's super chill. So I know how to build PCs, but there are times where I'm kind of like, my time is worth more than I care about this. So sometimes I will buy a very carefully researched stock PC with the intent to replace certain parts. So I have like an Asus right now. The motherboard is still stock, but I've basically replaced the power supply, the RAM, the graphics card, both drives. At this point, it has been 4.5 years. But I basically bought it because it had a bunch of empty bays and a lot of, it was clearly built to be upgraded. But the graphics card that came stock with it, I actually lent to my roommate because her graphics card kind of went kerplunk. And she was using a 940, 950, something like that for a long time. And she got one of the 3070s when they first dropped. She got one. The wattage output of the PSU, I'd have to check. It might be a 600 or a 750. I had to upgrade it actually because my graphics card didn't like pull too much power. It kept shutting my computer down. I would like boot up The Witcher and my computer would just shut down.
Times like these are here to show. You can do things for me and more. I got your back, just take things slow.
Yeah, that's probably smart. I actually need to check the specs on the 3070 and the 3080 to make sure my PSU can support it. I think I still have a little bit of wiggle room left, but it's worth checking. And I figured I'd jump that hurdle when I got to it though, because the chances of me getting a 3080 anytime soon are not great. I can totally justify graphics cards as a business expense though, because graphics cards are also very useful in 3D modeling, which is the bulk of the freelance I've been doing this year. Oops, sure did color that on 2 different layers. Little peek behind the curtain here. Sometimes you goof. Okay, now we're good. $1,000 computer build? That's tough, man. That's actually pretty hard these days. I mean, You can totally do it. I mean, you can do a budget build, but it sounds like you're going for a pretty solid, maybe gaming rig. Here's the question: do you do the clear case with the RGB stuff? I don't really do. My computer is like a metal case. It's really boring. I don't really do the showy stuff. I mean, I'd like to, but that would require, you know, all new parts and an all new case and the whole thing. So someday. I mean, clearly, you guys can see the inside of my streaming space here. I do like a bright color. You say original plan. I'm feeling like you started buying RGB parts.
It's a silent fighting. I see the lies in their mind, and you can't decide cause they only blinding. Go away and go from the bad guys. Follow my advice cause they're gonna be biting you. They're gonna kill if you let them through. Go, mommy, go now. I really don't want to see you cry. Mommy, go now. I really
Liquid cooled, huh? Nice. My dad was whining because he wanted to upgrade his graphics card too. He wanted to buy a 3090. And he was like, my computer is like water cooled and I don't really want to have to like deal with that to replace my graphics card. So I guess I'll just buy a whole new computer. And I'm like, god damn it. He's a big tech guy. Oh yeah, obviously, like your fans have to match the rest of your nonsense at that point. My roommate has a really cool RGB setup. He's a big WoW player. Which hilariously, WoW is not that heavy on your system, but like you can never have too much graphics processing power.
I see the violence in your eyes and it's a silent fighting. I see the lies in their mind and you can't decide cause they only blinding. Go away and go from the bad guys. Follow my advice cause they're gonna be biting you. They're gonna kill if you let them through.
Liquid cooling kind of scares me to be. It's probably fine. I mean, you just have to be careful. I've just never done a build with water cooling. I sure do hang out at the water cooling booth at PAX though. I'm like, show me your cool machine. Hey guys, remember cons? Remember like going out and doing things and like going on trips and seeing your friends?
I really wanna brutalize, let him agonize, cause it's gonna be biting you. They're gonna kill if you let them through.
Bend over backwards and over again. I'm jumping through hoops so you don't have to. Making you smile as long as I can. Storm clouds are coming, and it's best if you prepare.
There we go, it's a slightly better match. I think I painted that the wrong red, actually.
Promise I can try. Give
There we
you
go.
love to borrow, if just to get us by. And sometime when you're ready, I soften up the blow. Our love was never made to last, and I don't wanna give you back to hold on to. To hold on to.
Little Fuzz, I think you'd have a good time.
To hold
I definitely do think cons, though, are... they're not great to just sort of like cruise around alone. I mean, for some folks, I think that they are if you're more there for the shopping or for the panels or for a lot of those kind of more solo experiences. Certainly a lot of us cosplayers, though, go for social reasons. We go to see folks we know. So, like, find a friend! I don't know if you know anyone local you can go hit up and just be like, yo, let's hit up the con. I mean, obviously, after COVID. Right now, I would not recommend the con experience. There's actually a con in New Jersey I saw that's happening in like 10 days, and I was like, no, no, you guys, you can't. And then an old Modell's Sporting Goods, which doesn't really sound like my idea of a good time, but... I mix up my color selection of undo buttons kind of a lot.
I can't believe I let you get away, 'cause you made everything okay. I can't believe I let you get away, 'cause nothing ever comes so close before you let me go. If I can't have you for my own, then I don't wanna know you let me fall for something. And it ended all for nothing all of a sudden. If only I could press rewind, I swear I'm barely getting
Oh man, that sucks.
really meant what I said when I said you don't
Yeah, moving is tough. Building new community in general is tough.
you made everything okay.
Sometimes my Brooklyn friends and I talk about how I think how much harder it would have been to build a community if we didn't go to school here first. And I certainly think a lot about how lucky I am to have built a community through the cosplay community. You know, I meet dozens, if not hundreds of new people a year, and I love meeting new people. I love hanging out with new people. I love making new friends. But I'm so lucky to have met all the incredible people that I have that I wouldn't have met any other way.
If only I could press rewind, I swear I'm barely getting by. Really meant what I said when I said you don't leave this head of mine.
Oh, Little Fuzz, yeah, get your brother to go. The truth is, over time, you'll start building a community, if you like cons. Which, you know, I feel like you probably will. You're into a lot of the same stuff we are, but you start meeting more and more people and you start building this community, and you know, you reach this kind of point where, like, yeah, you know, you'll hit up your friend and be like, are you headed to this con? Like, you know, how's it going? But I can't tell you, at this point, I roll through a con floor and I'm like, hey, what's up? You know, hey, what's up? Like, hey, what's up? And it's like, it's so cool. You get to see all the new stuff people are up to. Yeah, I think the red sash was a good decision. You guys are right. Oh, good. A little pop of color. The question is, should I change the detailing on the belt to blue?
I've been strolling in the darkness, yeah, all night. Need nobody's help, cause I'm my own light. I just wanna be somebody in my life. But the race is peaceful, so I don't know how to put up a fight. Against my struggles, but I'm putting up all my might. Against my problems, but I don't let mine go out of my sight. But still,
You like
sometimes
that?
I waver. But
All
I
right.
promise I keep up.
I'm probably going a little colorblind. You know how it is. When you work on something for too long, you kind of stop being able to be objective about it. I'm down with the blue. Let's keep the blue. Just a little contrast. I don't think that's true, Bedoni. You're a graphic designer. You're good at color. Yeah, I'm into it.
I hope you're ready for bars. Lost direction and I got no poster. Was fighting alone, yeah, I got these scars. Was growing to episode, darkness game over. Not over. I was high with bad emotions. Now it's time for me to get sober. Yeah, I failed and fell down many times. Not ashamed of it, not gonna cover. In life you gotta take a step. Walk the right path, follow your map. Sometimes strangers might be friends and friends might be a trap. All you need to do is keep moving.
Now the challenge begins. I have to find all of my watches. And get rid of them. Again, the tried and true method of just turn layers on and off and hope for the best. Okay, they're all in here somewhere. One. A little treasure hunt. Another one. Ah, covered. Figured it out. Doom Flamingo. I'm gonna write a note. I like the name alone. I'll check it out, thank you. Synth pop funk. That sounds up my alley. I'm into it. Okay, I think I did it. I think I found all the swatches. God. Nailed it. Wicked Games. That sounds really familiar for some reason. body. You guys can see I already have a handful of adjustment layers up here that I had already been using earlier. You know, just kind of warming things up a little and adjusting levels and all that kind of fun stuff. Another thing I do, kind of fun, just for amusement, sometimes I will basically take a like screenshot of the state that I'm in, and I'll drop it into a folder. Because then later, I basically have like 8 or 9 kind of progress shots. So I can see, as well as, you know, for funsies for other folks, you can see my progress. I open this up. This was pretty much my initial sketch. So like not super different, but super loose. And then really starting to tighten things up. I was thinking about having a little more of a wrestling belt, kind of that big front, but it didn't end up working out that well for me. I ended up going more with the fabric. Tightening things up. Really starting to get those lines in there. This is like pretty far along. Initial flatting. You can see I haven't even really done a lot of the knot work and the eagle and all that kind of stuff at this point, but just sort of getting color palette, seeing how it's feeling about tone and value. Starting to tighten it up a little. And more, and then we're here. So we're quite close to the finish here, to be honest. I was thinking of doing a lot of really intricate work on the leather vest area, but truthfully, I kind of like it how it is, with this sort of implied texture and a lot of that stuff. There's so much other detail going on. I don't know if I need to go bananas. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about those. Thank you, Badoni. I can give you guys a teaser for the next one that I'm working on if you want. This is one of my other DnD characters. Let me open up the folder. Oh, thank you, Little Fuzz. Let's see if this works. So, you can see all my notes to myself. This is character art of my character Aelin. He's a paladin. This is a Curse of Strahd campaign. So you know it's that spooky shit. This is the sad dad Badoni. He's very sad. He's like big depression hours. He's also much older than Bjorn. I'm trying to figure out how much gray to put in his hair, you can tell. Like how much armor and the boots and all that kind of stuff. There it is. So once I finish Bjorn, I'll probably start working on that. Maybe not tonight. I feel like we've been streaming for almost 3 hours, which is a pretty solid stream. Let me do this, give this a once over, see if there's anything else that I really want to work on. Other than that though, I think we're probably gonna wind down pretty soon. As always, I'm not an affiliate yet, so I'm not gonna yell at you guys to sub or anything, but follows, if you haven't followed me yet, I think most of you guys have, because you're amazing and I love you. Follows are super useful for me right now, as is you guys hanging out in the chat. I don't know how much you guys know about affiliate, but it's basically like You have to have a certain number of followers, you have to average a certain number of people watching, you have to do a certain number of hours in a certain number of days. Very basic stats. But having you guys here also makes this fun. Like, there would be no point to me talking into the void. It's you guys who make this worth being. You guys make it worth it for me to be here. I swear I can talk. But you know, I never thought about getting into streaming until this year, and now that I've done it, it's amazing. And it's all because of you guys. Oh, that's a good point. Very Belmont. You know, I'm not mad about that comparison. He's not as dumb as a brick as Belmont, which I say this with love. I love Castlevania. But we know Trevor's dumb as a brick. But yeah, he's a paladin, so he's a real heavy hitter, kind of like Bjorn. It's almost like I have a type. Not always. Just not always. But yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about this. Let me export it. You can see some of my other character art, and also the Kermits from my previous stream. I'm gonna do something ballsy here, and I'm gonna name this Anal. Very ballsy move. It's a very epic song, also for us. Let's be going out on here. Nope, looks good. I mean, the truth is, I'll probably wake up tomorrow morning and be like, okay, there are a couple more things I want to see. And for the most part, we're done. Thank you guys for being here with me. I hope you all have a fantastic night. You guys are mostly either on the Gut Punch stream or you hang out in the Gut Punch chat. It is always lovely to see you. I also know that there are a couple lurkers who are other friends and other folks who are hanging out. Thank you all. I love you guys. Have a great night.